Big transfer links today are centering on Arsenal, Liverpool and Manchester United, with Chelsea and Tottenham also popping up in a few different stories. There's also a Bournemouth move that looks close, plus a Hull deal that appears ready to be wrapped up. And on top of that, we've got fresh chatter around Morgan Rogers, Julian Alvarez and Michael Olise. Here's the latest from the room. Let's start with the done deals. Hull City are expected to finalise Stroud this week, according to Sky Sports, with the deal put at £3 million from Jalbai. That wording is much stronger than a normal link, because it suggests the move is close to completion rather than simply being discussed. The same report also says Hull are hopeful of getting goalkeeper Konstantinos Tsoulakis over the line too, which adds to the sense of momentum at the club. On Stroud, this sounds like a deal that's basically ready to be wrapped up. Now, the hot rumours. Bournemouth look to be moving quickly on Antonio Silva from Benfica, and Fabrizio Romano says this one is edging towards the line. The key detail is that personal terms with the Portuguese centre-back have already been agreed, so the player side appears settled. What's left is the clubs finding their final agreement, but the report says that's close too. On the evidence here, this feels very advanced rather than speculative, and Bournemouth sound well placed to get it done. Manchester United are being linked with Crescencio Somerville if Marcus Rashford leaves, according to The Guardian and The Guardian Football. The price being talked about is around £30 million, and West Ham are said to be open to selling if they get the right offer after relegation. The reports also say United see him as the kind of left-sided forward that would fit the brief. With multiple Guardian reports matching up, this is a real watch item, but it still depends on departures first. Morgan Rogers has attracted attention from Chelsea, Arsenal and Tottenham, and The Athletic says Chelsea have not given up on him even if they accept his price tag and no Arsenal make the deal harder. Separately, Himothy reports say Rogers is open to Tottenham, but his preference is still Arsenal and he is prepared to wait for them. That's a proper three-club battle, with Arsenal seemingly the dream option and Spurs offering an alternative if things drag. This is lively, but the price and competition make it complicated. Arsenal are also being linked with Antonio NUSA, and Court Offside say they are preparing an offer of about £34 million for the RB Leipzig player. The report even gives a specific figure, which makes this feel more concrete than a standard link. There's no other club in this one, but the number alone suggests Arsenal are at least testing the market. If the reporting is right, this has moved beyond simple monitoring and into proper proposal territory. And finally, the one still on the radar. Angelo Stiller is another name on the board, with Bild saying Manchester United and Chelsea are among the clubs who have been linked. The big twist is that the chance to trigger his $41.7 million release clause has now gone, because that window expired on Wednesday. So any move now would have to be negotiated on different terms, even if the interest is still there. For the moment, this feels like a player to keep watching rather than a deal that's truly moving. Julian Alvarez keeps cropping up in Arsenal reporting, with Sky Sports, ESPN, TalkSport and Sky Sports Football all pointing in the same direction. The catch is Atletico Madrid do not want to sell, and the player's preference is said to be Barcelona. Even so, the clubs are at least in communication, helped by Andrea Berta's links to the Spanish capital, and TalkSport have gone as far as mentioning an initial swap idea involving Victor Gyökeres. Interesting? Absolutely. Advanced? Not yet. Gonzalo García is being assessed by José Mourinho at Real Madrid before any decision is made on whether he can leave, with Fulham mentioned in the background by Sky Sports. That means the player situation is still very open, because there's no green light yet from the new manager. For Fulham, it's one to monitor rather than celebrate. At this stage, the story is more about internal review than anything close to a transfer agreement. Liverpool are checking out Bradley Barcola, according to The Athletic, and he's part of a wider shortlist they're working through. The report also says they're looking at Brighton's Yankuba Minteh, said El Mallah of Köln and Lille's FERNANDEZ-PARDO. That tells us this is early-stage scouting and broad interest rather than a move that's taking shape for one specific target. Still, Liverpool clearly have several options on the table, and Barcola is firmly among them. Yankuba Minteh is one of the names Liverpool are looking at, with The Athletic putting him alongside Bradley Barcola, said El Mallah and FERNANDEZ-PARDO. Brighton are the club tied to him in the report, but there's no suggestion here of a bid or formal talks. It reads as part of Liverpool's wider attacking search, with several alternatives being tracked at once. For now, it's interest rather than movement. Matías Fernández-Pardo is also on Liverpool's list, again via The Athletic, alongside BARCOLA, MINTEH and Said El Mala. The Lille player is simply one of several names being looked at, which underlines how broad Liverpool's scouting is at this stage. There's no fee, no talks and no indication that this is more advanced than a watch list entry. So this one stays firmly in the early interest category. Michael Olise has been tipped in Foot Mercato to see Real Madrid as the ideal environment for the next stage of his career. The report frames it as his feeling after 2 years at Bayern Munich, so at this point it's more about his thinking than any formal approach. There's no bid, no talks and no second club mentioned, just a clear signal of attraction to Madrid. Interesting, yes, but still very much in the background. That's today's signing room. If you want the next update as soon as it breaks, make sure you're subscribed and back here tomorrow.